everybody, Shop Talk with TNT. I'm Trent Nyhus, Farmers Insurance, the Nyhus Agency.
I am Ted Peterson with LakePlace.com Brothers Realty.
We're here today with Brandon Graber, owner of Whitecap Financial Advisors. Thanks for being here, Brandon, in your beautiful Turtle Lake office.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
I think we'll start with the first question. What is Whitecap Financial Advisors?
Well, I'm an independent financial advising firm that helps businesses, small businesses, good-sized businesses, individuals, families, help save for retirement. So I do rollovers, like I said, set up business retirement plans, education accounts, the whole gamut.
So kind of like you manage people's 401ks?
Yep. I can, and like I said, I can help with the rollover piece of that. I do a lot of combining of people right now are doing a lot of job hopping.
Okay.
So you might have a 401k at 4 different places. So I can help get them into one.
Okay.
And manage that. Like I said, I don't have any minimums. Some out there will have $500 minimum or it's out there. I'm hoping to get there. No. But no, I don't have any minimums because I want people to get started, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're all from a small town here, and when I was younger, making more money on my money was getting a CD at the bank. Again, nothing against the banks, Dairy State, but again, there's more out there. So historically, the market has been good over the last 100 years, and again, there's a lot of opportunity.
So you went to college. What was where did I guess start with that?
Yeah, so I graduated from Turtle Lake, of course, went to University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Okay.
Got my degree in business administration, minor in marketing. Decided to work for a big retailer right out of school. Didn't love life with that. So
which one was that?
Menards.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a big investment firm.
No, I was at Menards corporate office for a couple of years, and wasn't living life. Learned a lot, though. It was good. And actually, oddly enough, I actually applied to a big investment firm. One of the ones that everybody's heard of. I'm not going to give them any credit on this. I got Edward Jones. That's
okay.
Yeah. And they didn't take me. So I don't know if it was a height restriction.
You can always spike your hair so high.
Should have wore boots that day or something. Or if the program was full or whatever, they didn't take me. So I kept on going. Would work for Anderson Windows for 6 years in multiple roles there, and a buddy of mine was the CFO of the Baldwin Hospital at the time, and he said, "Hey, there's a guy that we do some work with that's looking for somebody to get up and running and get up to speed and potentially take his book over." I said, "Okay." Well, I said, I always wanted to own my own business. I thought that'd be, that's kind of my ultimate goal in life. And so I said, sure. So I talked to him and got up to speed, got up and running, and I was there for almost 8 years. And it was just
another private investment firm, smaller one.
Exactly. Yep, another independent firm. Yep, exactly. He was a good guy. I learned a lot from him. It just, we just weren't going in the same direction anymore. So I said, it's time for me to spread my wings, and I did. So I created Whitecap Financial Advisors, and we've got our main office in Roberts with our full-time office manager. And then I said, I got a lot of clients up in this area, and I need some place to meet. Not everybody wants to meet in their home.
Yeah.
When they don't want to have to clean or whatever. And I've had cats and dogs running across the table. Again, nothing against cats or dogs. But like I said, I just needed a place that people could come to. Right?
Okay.
So talked to Trent at a football game. He said, "Hey, there's a spot here," and so here we are.
So can I ask you? When I think Whitecap, I think rough waters. Is there some kind of correlation there, or do you just point at the dictionary?
No, good pickup. Actually, it's really hard to get a name for advising firm. Everything out there is taken. So I probably spent 12 hours Googling any word that had a good meaning, financial meaning or strength or anything was right there. Because again, it can be a one-man shop or one-woman shop, and use that name up. So I probably spent over 12 hours, just Googling, making sure nobody had the name.
Yep. And
back to your point, I love the duality of the meaning, right? Whitecap water, Whitecap peaks. So my tagline is from the roughest seas to the highest peaks. We're with you every step of the way. So meaning, again, like right now when the market's very turbulent, we're not gonna run from it, you know?
It's turbulent right now?
I've heard. I don't pay attention to it much. Kidding.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess I don't check it right. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty turbulent right now. There's a lot of volatility right now, but again, you know, long term, it's a long term game, right?
Mhm.
So, but again, so we're with you during those rough times to help calm you, be the calming presence, and then also, you know, we're trying to get you ultimately to your goal of retirement, you know, which is the pinnacle of your wealth, you know, creation. So, but yeah, good question. So yeah, we get. I know the camera can't see the logo, but.
Well, we can. I think they can see it.
Okay, maybe. You know, like I said, you got some.
Our camera's not very good.
Sorry, Dana.
So I mean, like I said, we got some waves, and we also got some.
Oh, that's cool. That's
So,
I'm always curious how people come up with their names.
Yeah.
You know, like mine's pretty obvious. It's we kind of specialize in like Lakeshore, so.
yeah.
You
I'm a franchise.
Yeah. Well, so are we, but I don't understand the whole farmers thing. But
It was started when two guys came back from World War I, and they just specialized in farms in California.
oh, okay.
And then we don't rent farms anymore. So,
But
yeah.
but once you brand a name and once you build a
You can't change.
Yeah, how hard to.
I mean, and that's what I'm going through right now too. Is just getting my name out there.
Yep, that's hard. It's the hardest part about being
Absolutely.
a small business.
Yep,
Yep.
100%. I mean, if I was Edward Jones, everybody knows what Edward Jones
Yep.
is. You know, Raymond James,
Yep.
Northwestern Mutual. I mean, again, everybody knows what they do, right? And yeah, I mean, nobody knows what to do yet. You know, we're getting there though. You know, it's been just a little over a year now. Things are going very well, but again, like anything, word of mouth.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
that's what we're all looking for, right?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Your weekly ad in the Helco Press.
Weekly in Helco Press. Yep. Thanks, Dave.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Your sign that made me go out and spend more money on my sign.
Yeah.
It's fine, you know, it's a real deal. So,
Yeah, I mean, I try to be a real advisor.
Yeah.
I look like one.
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of same. So my question, kind of going back to, we're all Turtle Lake grads. I think that, I think it's funny because I always thought, and Tad told me that, and this might not be real or not, but I always thought the reason you were number 53 in high school was because you were a Broncos fan and that was Bill Romanowski's number. I heard that it might have been a different reason why.
It was probably more Tad than anybody. I don't want him to get a bigger head than he already has. I mean, that's a big.
I was born with the big head.
Yeah, I mean, I never got to play with Tad. You're beyond me.
Yeah.
You were a senior when I was an 8th grader. I think you were a freshman and I was a senior, right?
I was an 8th grader,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's,
So
it was,
we're trying to
yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
same setup. Yeah, I mean, I looked up to, arguably one of the, best players of the time that I watched. I guess it was you, Ted. But anyways, the biggest guy, at least I knew coming out of Turtle Lake. But
I just think it's funny because that's kind of like circle here. Like I looked up to Brandon looked up to you, and now me and you do a YouTube video, and Brandon's down up to do it with us.
And I'm saying, meet in the middle, yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, actually, it was the only number left.
Oh,
That's kind of what happened to me.
And now they go and make whatever number you want, 0 and everything else.
Yeah.
No, it was because of Dad.
Uh-huh.
So.
that was something. So with you meeting with clients and you talked about us earlier that you were going to ask us what our strangest encounter was. I want to hear what your strangest is. I'm going to get in front of it.
Yeah. See, my thing is I feel like I can talk to anybody,
Yeah.
right? And you guys are very similar. Right? You can have a conversation with anybody. The hardest thing for me is when clients don't talk.
Yep.
You ask them questions and you give one-word answers. You try to, it's a technique of asking an open-ended question.
Yep.
And you still don't get much back.
It's just open.
So what, that was probably 6 or 7 months ago. And I'm in my 9th year of doing this. 6 or 7 months ago, I had this couple come in and they wanted to do some combining some stuff, and so I always go through the whole thing, right?
Yep.
I want to know everything about everything as much as they'll tell me because it helps me, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm
Yep.
just trying to get the full picture, right? So if I can have the full picture, then I can help in a lot of different areas, right? So I had them in, and I don't know if they just weren't ready for that. I know they were young. I just don't know if they were ready for all the questions. I mean, I was asking about potentially a family someday and things of that nature, just for just planning purposes, right? Just kind of letting them know what I can do and help with and all that. And I literally I couldn't pull words out of them to save my soul. I was trying my best, and literally, I mean, after being over 8 years of doing this, I felt myself starting to sweat. And I'm like, and as I'm sweating, I'm thinking, you haven't sweated with clients in forever, until you came to this office and it was 95 degrees. But no, I mean, I could not get anything out of it. And I think we were maybe like 5 minutes in. I'm like, okay, well, now what? And it was the worst meeting that I've probably ever had in my career. I mean, even worse than back in the beginning of 2014 when I was meeting with clients and I wasn't very confident in what I was even talking about. But it was so uncomfortable, and I just wanted to crawl under my desk, and I'm thinking, normally, when you try to control the meeting, you can kind of dictate where it goes, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of, read some body language and kind of understand, kind of what you're getting from people. Toughest read of my entire life.
Well, and that's the hard thing is like, I mean, similar probably with all three of us is I'm not asking these questions because I want to I want to get to know you, but I don't need to know personal information. But sometimes I want to know certain things. So if the house we're looking at right now isn't what your cup of tea is, what should I look for in the future? I mean, and if you're not giving me that information, it makes it harder for me to do what I need to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I'm held to the toughest, some of the most stringent privacy and confidential, standards in any industry, not just in our industry. I mean, more than doctors, lawyers.
Yeah.
I mean, what's said in my office is truly said in my office.
Yeah.
And I always kind of start that out too with people that I know,
Yeah.
from up here, where we all know a lot of the same people. I say, if something comes out of this room, it's not because of me.
Yeah.
It'll be because you said something to somebody,
Yeah.
or we talked about that. It will never come from me.
Yeah.
So, and again, I take it very seriously, and that's one thing too. Is I try to make my meetings light, because this is a very confusing industry, and again, this industry makes people clam up more than probably most, right? Because it is something that makes you feel just intimidated, right? And that's part of the reason why I wanted to go into it, because I knew that this industry wasn't. You don't have to be a genius to do this job, right? I wanted to bring clarity to people and to help them through this. Because again, I knew it would help me in the long run because everybody needs to do this themselves too.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to help other people with that, and I knew it wasn't that complicated. It's like anything, right? I mean, if you do it for a living, you get good at it, right? Or if you spend the time and put the effort in, you'll get good at it. And I wanted to help people cut through that ambiguity of this industry. And I feel like, that's what you do. You got to ask the questions to get there, And
well, and sometimes it's just to build trust. And I always tell people, I'm helping you with your most expensive investment you're going to make in your life, which maybe I'm not, because actually, you're building there, and you're insuring it all. So I mean, we're kind of goofy, but I take what I'm doing literally, if you're selling your house, that's the most expensive, maybe not. Maybe the retirement funds are worth more, but I hope they're worth more sometimes.
Oh, one-time sales, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, or you're going to write a check for a few $100,000. I'm absolutely going to take that serious, and I want that to be a positive experience. So if you're going to do it again, or you're going to tell a friend, I want you to say, well, that helped me a lot, So
right. Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to take, as I said, I don't. Again, you try to make those meetings light.
Exactly.
Because even while you're asking very important questions, you still don't want them to feel weird about it, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I used to, and I was guilty of it too. When I started, just to ask somebody what they make, you're just kind of like, well, so somebody in your position, not you, how much would a person doing your job make? And that's where you get yourself in trouble. I mean, again, it's not in trouble, but I mean, that's where people feel clammed up when you ask it that way. If you say, hey, what's your income? They tell you.
It's
and you don't make it weird.
Yeah, it's a number I got to put in my program here,
I mean, what kind of debt do you have? A lot of people don't want to talk about that. Trent's brother.
I don't know who that guy was.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean,
I'm having a hard time not watching this when I'm outside.
but I think
Main
that's
Street Turtle Lake, baby.
like when you're talking about like I have such a hard time when I ask somebody a question and they just give me the answer right away. Where even if I ask them about their income or something like that, if they just told me the answer right away, it's like no, I want to hear the story. Like I want this, even though this would probably be a 5-minute interaction, I want this to last a little bit longer because I want to hear what's going on and why you're looking for it. And like you guys said, I remember writing my first home insurance thing and looking at it and I'm like, oh, I hope I did that right, and I really hope it doesn't burn down to find out if I did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's getting that out of people is sometimes the challenge, and but again, as you hone your skills, right, I mean, it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, I mean, I can literally remember writing like my first offer to purchase out, which it's 10 pages now. I think it was like 6 back then.
Right.
And I just remember going, Jesus, do I understand all this shit on here? Because I'm supposed to, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to ask a lot of questions for the people that I worked with above me, like, did I, you know?
But that's just it.
Yeah.
Asking questions and being honest with the client.
Yeah.
Being honest with them. Say, hey, you know what? This is my first one. I won't make a mistake at your expense.
Yeah.
But just bear with me a little.
Yep.
Right? And people they'll do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're okay with that. It's just if you tell people something and it's not accurate, and you just throw it off the cuff, then they're gonna be mad.
We just talked about this the other night.
And leadership,
Yes, I mean, absolutely. Do not be afraid to use the. I mean, this is me. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'll find out. Yeah. I mean, rather than be that person that just gives an answer and then a little while later goes, yeah, I'm sorry, you know. And so, we do make mistakes. I mean, sometimes you do think you know the answer, you know, but.
I mean, I haven't this year yet. Well, I don't know. I might have made one last year mistake, but
Yeah.
Well, that's his New Year's resolution is to make zero escape.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
We just listened to a speaker last night, and he is the guy that he places all the Division III women's referees for college for basketball in the state of Wisconsin, and he was talking about the women's college basketball Final Four. He must be in circles where he knows these things. They graded him out at 93%. So he's like, you know, even the greatest referees out there,
Sure.
you know, 93%, that's phenomenal. I mean, that's,
Right.
you know, especially when you watch those games, and I mean, you know, that's high, that's the highest levels it gets, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get it all every
Yeah.
time. You know, it's like, I mean, you know, like I said, trying to pick portfolios. I mean, again, I say I'm the closest thing to a farmer that you can get. And it's a weird analogy, but once I go through it, right, I say, you know what? So I'm going to put my clients in what I think is the best at the time. Just like a farmer is going to put whatever seed they think is right for their soil, right? And then guess what? I'm going to pray for the market conditions, and they're going to pray for good weather, right? Well, guess what? You know, if you're not getting enough moisture, you're gonna irrigate, right? If we're seeing that international is a place to be, or not a place to be, or large cap, mid cap, or whatever, we're gonna adjust the portfolio to accommodate that, right? And again, we're doing that throughout essentially the year, just like a farmer's gonna spray for bugs or spray for weeds. You know, we're very similar, right? So my farming clients, they get that very much. And again, from up here, most people know farmers, right? Or had grandparents that were farmers, or so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, all you can do is the best you can do. And again, honestly, it all boils down to just having the client's best interest in mind.
Which is why it's frustrating when you sit in those meetings and they don't talk.
Right.
You know, because it's like, no, this is why I'm asking you those questions. I want to know what seed to put in the ground. You know?
I'm just trying to, just to get it all boiled down to figure out what you need or what you should have, you know. So, and again, you know, like I said, you try to make it light. You know, I take my job obviously very seriously, as do you guys. But I don't take myself very seriously. Right? I'm okay picking on myself, and I'm okay.
We thought we could outsmart the camera by overheating, and we set a timer. You know, we were gonna be very proactive. Once again, me and Ted failed at technology, so. And then we ended up getting on a tangent about technology teachers from high school. So it kind of fell into place, but so we have no idea where we're at. So we're just gonna shoot back into something else and keep talking.
Quick intermission.
Yeah.
Brandon did some push-ups and made us feel bad about ourselves, but it's fine.
Turn the temperature up here a little bit.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I don't remember where we're at. We were talking about just dealing with customers and.
Yeah, I mean,
So here's a question. Like, how many? Like, I mean, you're obviously. And you don't want to talk about specifics, so I won't ask specifics. But like, is there like a certain set of broadly speaking, is there like a certain set of funds you like to invest in, or I mean, is it kind of wide open?
yeah, I mean,
If I come to you and say, "Hey, I want to buy a bunch of those bitcoins," you're going to tell me that's a good idea? Well, I wasn't supposed to talk
that was
about
on
bitcoins.
there.
that was
No, I mean, like,
So yeah, so
that was on the list.
my publicist is going to be PO. No, I mean, I see. What's nice about being independent
Yeah.
is I don't have to get a client into A, B, or C.
Yep.
Right? Sometimes clients need D, E, or F,
Yep.
or even Z. Right? It all depends. I mean, and again, I have clients from basically, they're in an education account,
Yep.
4 months old to
Yep.
96.
Yep.
Right?
So that person needs something different than somebody that just
Everybody
wants
needs
to-
something different, and that's the thing. There is no cookie cutter that works for everybody, right? And I try to tell couples when they come in and talk about we talk that there may be a couple that's two 30-year-olds, 2 kids, both employed, but their hopes, dreams, goals, ambitions are completely different than the next. Right? It may be their retirement goals. Maybe they maybe have to take care of family at some point, or their parents. There's so many different things. Right? That's why you have to take every case on its own merit
Yep.
and get all the background information. And as far as investments go, it's hard to say. I mean, it depends on what they need, what they want, how aggressive they want to be, how conservative they want to be. Again, we can look at different areas of the market. Again, if we want to be more on the tech side, we could do that. I mean, I don't do a lot of individual stocks. I can.
So you're mostly like mutual funds.
Mostly mutual funds.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, that's what
Yep.
I didn't have the lingo. That's what I was trying to ask.
Yep. No, it's a good question. Yeah, mostly mutual funds. I mean, I can.
A little bit of Bitcoin.
We said not to talk about this.
But yeah, so again, we can get them whatever they
Yeah.
need. As far as like I said, I don't prize myself as a stock picker
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And again, mutual funds are just a lot more diverse. People can stomach those a lot better than individual stocks. Again, if somebody comes in and wants to buy Apple,
Yeah.
we can get it.
That's what I was going to ask.
We can get it done. I mean, if they want to come in and buy, XYZ stock, we can do it for them, right? But again, I don't fancy myself as saying, hey, pick this stock, pick that stock, because again, what I'm trying to do for my clients is get them to, where are we at now, where do we want to get to as far as retirement, and what do we got to do in the middle to get you there, right?
So are you like researching the performance of different funds? Yeah.
So I have accounts where I pick the funds.
Yep.
I have accounts where I'll use different models that I'll use,
Yep.
maybe different fund companies that'll have diversified accounts within. And again, I charge accordingly, right? If it takes me, more time and effort, then the management fee on there is a little different. Again, that's a great thing to bring up too, is how I charge, right?
Yep.
I don't charge
That's what I was just gonna ask you,
hourly. Usually I get paid by the account value, which it's called like an advisory account. It's a percent of the account value. That's a majority. That's the way the SEC, the way the industry is kind of going. I think that's the way. It's just more. It's just easier for the client to understand.
Yep.
Without any growth or any decline in the value, you can basically really close to of showing what your fees are going to be for the full year. Right?
So is it kind of a commission almost?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, so once I get that account started, though, every time I make a trade, I don't get a commission on it, though,
Okay.
right? So basically, they value it quarterly. You're paid on the account value up and down. So again,
Yeah.
like right now, when accounts are down, 5 to 15%, that means potentially my revenue's gonna be down
Yeah.
5 to 15%. So it's not just it's not all And I know that there's a stigma about advisors that they make too much money,
Yeah.
they charge too much money, and
You might have to sell one of your yachts.
you're right. Yeah, I mean, there's sleazy. Not quite as much as insurance salesmen and realtors, but
How about car sales?
ooh, I'm not touching that one. But
I
yeah,
like to rake on dad.
Yeah, see, now you can show that. Now your dad can watch this one. Now you can't be as mad as he.
and I'm officially out of the will.
You're welcome, Brittany.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, there's that's what I love about being independent is nobody's telling me what I should be putting clients into. You know, nobody's telling me that I have to sell a certain amount, otherwise I'm going to be out of my business. So again, if I don't produce enough, I don't eat, and my kids like to eat a lot. So anyways, that's a good
You
question.
focus on the people, and the people take care of you.
Absolutely, yep. I mean, exactly. And again, there's times when, if I had a nickel for every time I donated, my time to helping somebody with a 401k that I don't even get paid on. And we all do it, right? I mean, you put a lot of time in and never get a sale. You run a bunch of quotes and it just doesn't work out, right? And that's okay. I mean, you're gonna have some of that, right? So, but again, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're trying to just uphold your name and not tarnish your name at all, things all usually fall into place.
Can you kind of explain, so like what's your average day? So if you met with a client and when you're looking at different mutual funds or whatever, wherever you want to put their money or their assets into, so when you said that you pick out some of your own, so how long do you research that?
Well, I mean, like I said, it depends on what I'm looking at, right? I mean, I have a number of criteria, and I won't go into that, but there's a number of criteria that I look at as far as what makes a good fund a good fund.
Okay.
And again, the reason I won't go into specifics is because there's a million specifics. Right?
Well,
I mean, and there's a lot of different things that people, other advisors can say, well, I don't think that's important. I don't think that's important. I think there's probably a core amount that everybody'd say, well, that's pretty important. Right?
And you don't want anybody watching to interpret you as meaning something.
Right.
It says,
Exactly.
well, I heard Brandon see on YouTube that I should buy. I won't say that. Because he didn't say that.
No, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's why, like I said, that's why I struggle with a lot of these people on TV, right?
Yeah.
Again, nothing too much against them, but the Susie Ormans of the world that are out there talking to this audience of 18-year-olds to 80-year-olds and saying, do this or don't do this. Well, you can't say that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I have a tough time with that because, again, like I just said before, you could have two 30-year-olds and, two kids, and they're in completely different situations. One may have a $500,000 mortgage, one may have no mortgage. One may be, one family may be making $1 million a year, the other may be making 7 years, $1,000 a year. And so, you can't just say everything's cookie cutter. You can't just. You got to take every situation on its own and give it the time that it deserves. I mean, as far as investments go, I mean, my typical day, like I said, if I'm going to meet with a client, especially if they're an established client, I always do an agenda. So I always prep, prep before. So I'll look at, I'll look through all their accounts, and if I want to make any changes, I'll make sure I know them. And then, like I said, I'll go into it with an agenda. So I do prep before I meet with the client. Obviously, I have the meeting, which is the most fun part, right? BS with the clients is the reason I do this job. But then, afterwards, like I said, depending on what's coming out of there, if they take the suggestions, which they typically do, then we'll get those done. We'll get them back on the calendar. I'll get to them with any follow-up stuff within usually a couple days, if not, sooner than that. So,
do you try and make it a point to meet with your customers once a year, once?
Good question. Yeah. So depending on account value, typically, and how much we need to make changes, at least every 6 months. And then so I like checking in, even within them. I mean, funds don't change a lot over 6 months. Again, even if the market's doing a lot, they're typically not going to drift a whole lot in 6 months. So I like seeing them every 6 months. I'll usually provide a check-in call every 3 months to say, hey, how's life? How's things going? Anything I should know about or anything you want me to know about? Because again, a lot of times things happen, and I'm not always the first to know, right? Which is okay. But people get raises. People get this happens, or they quit their job, or they lose their job, or again, I do my best, and it sounds morbid, but I check 9 different funeral homes, and from here, basically Rice Lake to Roberts and South, twice a week. Trying to get ahead of. Just whether it's mothers or fathers or whatever passing away. So it sounds morbid, but again, I'm not always the first to know, but there's a lot of changes we have to make, whether it's, moving the account from one spouse to the other, whether it's, just basically updating beneficiaries, right? So a lot of those things that you want to just try to stay abreast of and get ahead of, and I think we do a really good job of, just customer service and just being in front of our clients and and welcoming them and making them feel comfortable. The last thing I ever want people to do is worry about asking me about how much I'm charging
Yep.
or this, that. I mean, I think when people hide behind fees or hide fees,
Yep.
then you're overcharging, or
Yep.
you shouldn't be scared of it. If you're worth it, then you can charge it, right? So,
I just tell people up front.
Yeah.
Don't get anything. I just do this for fun.
you just tell up front that you're screwing them.
Just let you know nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know, what makes you, if I'm looking for a financial advisor, what makes you different than going with anybody else? Why should people choose you?
Well, I mean, for one, like I said, I always I try to make things light.
Mhm.
And I always try to educate. I didn't realize how much, when I went into this job, how much of an educator and psychologist that you have to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've had guys crying in front of me, I've had girls crying in front of me, couples crying in front of me. It just, I didn't realize that was
Yeah.
what it's going to entail, right? But again, I treat everybody, no matter if it's a $5,000 account or if it's a $5 million account, I treat them the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I treat them like they're individuals, like they're people, like it's like all their money is important because it is important to them, right? And again, I just, from a small town, right? I want to be nice to everybody. That's why I
Yeah.
want to help people, so.
And and I'm not picking on people from bigger towns, but because there's a lot of things about bigger towns that are cool too. But I think that's one thing that we're lucky that we're from a
Yeah.
small town,
Yeah.
and you care about each other. I mean, there isn't very many people that have walked outside this window right now that I didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a small community, and that's just kind of, even if you do leave and go somewhere else, you're kind of looked at differently because people wonder why do you care so much about them? It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, when we grew up, a handshake, and in a small town, a handshake still matters.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's probably lost today,
yeah,
where, there's people are just all about themselves and,
Yeah.
and, super busy and everything. And then again, I don't know, everybody's busy. Right?
yeah.
But
But it's not that a handshake matters; it's that it matters all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't just matter when it benefits you.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Sometimes you gotta swallow the
Yeah.
pride and say, "Yep, I goofed that up."
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I feel like, we just take care of our clients. I mean, again, rarely do I make mistakes. But I mean, if I do, I walk to it, right?
Yeah.
And I say, you know what, I should have got, I apologize, I didn't see the email or whatever. But I mean, again, just own up to your mistakes.
Yeah.
Just be honest with people. And I feel like, again, this is what I dress in most of the
Yeah.
time. I mean, I could wear a suit, but you guys would be
I
like,
don't trust
who
people.
are you
I
guys?
think you should. I think when you come to the Turtle Lake office, you should always be in a suit.
Yeah, and then take it off before I come in here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen a lot of people in the bigger cities, right?
Yeah.
Where the first thing they do when they get their license is they buy the suit
Yeah,
and they get the Audi. They
yeah,
can't afford either one of them.
Yeah.
But it makes it look good, right? And you know what? I don't know. I mean, and maybe that works. And I'm not saying I've never worn a suit because
Yeah.
there's certain boards or something I'll go to that I'll wear a suit, right? But by and large, I want people to feel comfortable in the meetings. I want them to feel, ask me anything, and don't feel stupid. That's what I tried to do my best to even over-explain things to people.
Yeah.
That even if they've had them for 5 years, 7
Yeah.
years, explain it to them again without trying to talk over them. Because again, this stuff is not. It's complex stuff, I mean, and it can get, you can lose it. I mean, a lot of people, they'll understand it, and then a week later they forget it, and that's
Yeah.
okay, because again, you don't do this for a living. So I just want people to feel comfortable asking me questions, feel comfortable with, with what they have, and again, ultimately to understand that I do have their best interest in mind.
yeah.
And I'm just,
Well, I'm guilty of this all the time. Like you're explaining something, and I'm going through it fast because
as you've done it
I've done it a
times.
million times.
Yeah.
And then people are polite.
Yeah.
So over the years I've learned like, okay, like seriously, I just realized myself that I'm going way too fast.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you need me to go back and look at? Because some of this verbiage, some of this is, no offense, it's written by lawyers. It can be confusing.
Yeah.
Insurance, I'm sure is the same way. I'm sure your stuff's the same way.
Well, I mean, and again, I'm not gonna, if I'm buying a house, I'm not gonna read every page of the 100 pages.
Nobody does.
No, because I don't have time, and
Yeah.
neither do you. And again, most of it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
But But like I said, at the end of the day, as long as people understand that you have their best interest in mind, that's really what they're looking for, And again, that's the thing we say too, is it's really hard to build trust and confidence over one meeting, or even 2 meetings.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to read people, right? Again, like when you're saying you're going through it fast, if I can see when people are starting getting glazed over, and then I'm like, okay, you got to adjust your approach here.
Yeah, there's a couple that I do a lot of business with, and when I'm going through paperwork, he'll literally say, "Shut up, tell me where to sign."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, wait, I wanted to make sure you understand this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No." He goes, "Are you trying to cheat me?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to cheat you, but I want you to make sure that we're
Right.
no, shut up, tell me where to sign." And like they'll sign for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and okay,
Send those clients my way.
yeah,
No, it's good stuff. But
yeah.
I think this is probably a good.
Probably a good spot to end.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where can people get a hold of you? Website, Facebook page, email, text, pager, fax.
Well, if you want to get a hold of me, just burn your house down and start a fire on the Turtle Lake and the Roberts Fire Departments. So, but no, we had Facebook. I'm not very good at Facebook, but whitecapfa.com also.
Okay.
Again, if you drive by the Turtle Lake office, we have right in the window there. Number is 715-760. Excuse me. Yeah, so it's 9001.
It's hard to read, guys.
I should know my number, right? 715-760-9001. Yep, that goes to our Roberts office, and that's like I said, our office manager Nicole there is there, 99% of the time.
Okay.
So yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah. Shop Talk with TNT, Trent Nyhus, Farmers Insurance, Nyhus Agency.
Tad Peterson, LakePlace.com. Brothers Realty, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like on our Facebook page, and is that everything we're supposed to do?
Just share the hell out of it.
Yeah, subscribe.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.